So here's the deal. Hygiene is not only for feeling really good in our bodies, but also for our body's overall health and well-being. But unfortunately, many of us have been sold this idea of what hygiene has to look like through the media, through commercials, through products being sold to us. And it really doesn't have to look like that image of what we might think of when we think of hygiene. If you click this video, you are probably interested in living a little bit more of a natural life. Maybe you want to have less products and less toxins to worry about in your space, in your environment, in your life. Well, you came to the right place. In this video, I'm going to talk about different hygienic habits that I can vouch for because this is how I live my life. And take what you want, leave what you don't like, but I just thought it'd be a good place to get some ideas of things that you could start incorporating for your life as well. So I'm basically going to break it down by category. So let's start with hair. There is lots of products out there marketed towards hair, especially for ladies like myself. And I find for myself that I do not need any of those things. First off, I would say I don't recommend any products with these ingredients in them. And that is because of these ingredients having continued research showing that they are linked to different health issues. Just one example being parabens that have been studied to show that they interrupt the endocrine system, so basically they disrupt your hormones, which leads to a whole plethora of health issues. And you will see this will be a continued theme through the whole list with every category. There will just be a recommendation of things to not get with certain ingredients just because of the health issues that they have been linked to. And definitely where you can start is looking for alternatives you can buy, but I'm definitely going to go into a lot of DIY options today. So first off, for my shampoo, I actually make my own, and it's just as simple, either 2 or 3 ingredients. I did a whole video on how to make this shampoo, and I will link it, but it is essentially just boiling something called soap nuts, and I boil some flax seeds in it as well, and then just adding a scent through essential oil or something like that. Yes, it keeps my hair super clean and it works wonders, and I have no need for a conditioner. If you ever want to do a special kind of hair treatment, there's so many recipes out there on homemade hair masks and just different things like that to give your hair a little extra health, a little extra volume or shine. So definitely look some of those up because they're fun to make too. If you're somebody who finds yourself really needing to have something to absorb some oil in between washes, and you usually go for the dry shampoos, I recommend cornstarch. It does a really good job just sucking up all the oils and keeping your head nice and dry. If you're somebody with darker hair, you can mix in a little bit of cocoa powder and that'll help it blend better. For any kind of styling or anything like that, I definitely recommend an oil. Jojoba oil is a great one. You can even use something like coconut oil. How I use it personally is just put a little bit in between my hands and I just use it to scrunch my hair after a wash. I personally don't use any heat on my hair ever, so I don't need to worry about damage or protecting from damage from something like that. And if you're somebody who likes to color your hair, I definitely recommend either henna or indigo. You can do so much with these powders. The only thing you can't do is go lighter, but you can achieve so many different hair colors, and it's all just from powder made from a plant. I, a few months ago, did my hair with henna to make it a little bit more red, and I have a video on that too if you want to see it. But for anybody out there who likes to keep up with a color, I definitely recommend looking down that path at least, because it is definitely way less harsh. I mean, it's not harsh at all. It's actually a very good treatment for your hair. A lot of people use henna for just to make their hair be treated, not even to put color in it. Comparing that to the lots and lots of chemicals we see in traditional hair coloring, I would definitely look into it. Okay, making our way down, we are at the face. So I'm sure, as you can tell, me personally, I am not much of a makeup wearer. But again, if you really like to wear makeup, I would just recommend not buying any makeup with these kinds of ingredients in it. With all of these things, there are products out there that are taking steps to really be good natural products. Yes, the price tag reflects that as well. But if it's something you're really into and care about, I definitely recommend looking down those routes because you can save, and then if you can put your money towards something that you believe in and want to, move forward those companies, that's a great way to kind of vote with the dollar. But there are DIY options as well. I know you can use stuff like beet powder for lip tints or blush. Lots of options out there for sure. If you do like to wear some makeup and want a good way to remove it, coconut oil does wonders, especially for stuff like mascara. Just a little coconut oil on the eyelashes and it comes right off with a warm, wet towel. For moisturizers, I definitely recommend tallow. Tallow is a great moisturizer lotion, and there's products out there made with tallow in it. It is so nourishing to the skin, 100%. It makes it feel so soft, and that is definitely what I recommend. For some other face health, you can definitely get into the practice of doing lymph massages. So if you didn't know, I actually trained as a professional massage therapist, so I have this kind of information pretty firsthand. Your lymphatic system, which is usually what, when you get sick, you have swelling in the lymph nodes here. But if you're feeling a little congested, especially as we're going into kind of allergy season or cold season, you can always get in the practice of giving yourself a little massage. So what you're going to want to do is pull from where your nose meets your cheekbone and pull around that cheek to where your ear meets your neck. Then from there, you're going to want to pull that down. You can also go into the chin and just go up the chin to the same spot and drain from there as well. Self-massage is definitely a good practice to get into as it helps circulation and, like I said, helping your lymphatic system. So definitely give it a try next time you're feeling a little bit stuffy. Next, we are on to teeth. And one practice that I like to incorporate with my normal brushing and flossing routine is oil pulling. There's definitely mixed conversation on the topic, but I personally have found that it does help my mouth to just feel cleaner, less inflamed. Essentially, what oil pulling is supposed to do is help remove plaque as well as bacteria from the mouth, and so it can help with preventing cavities, it can help with gum inflammation, and like I said, for me personally, I really do think that it works. So how you do oil pulling is you take a spoonful of oil, I definitely recommend coconut, and just put it in your mouth, and you're going to want to swish it around and really get everywhere around your teeth and your gums and your mouth. And you're going to want to do this for at least 15 minutes, I'd say. I usually go 20. And then spit it out either outside or in a trash can. I wouldn't spit this oil into your sink because it can mess up the pipes. But like I said, incorporating this maybe with one of the times that you brush your teeth, it can really help your gums feel better. It can help prevent the plaque. But incorporating this practice, I usually do it at night with my nightly brushing. I really find it to be very helpful. Okay, next we'll talk about nails briefly. Just like with everything else, don't recommend nail products with these ingredients. But also, again, there are definitely companies out there trying to make better products for us. So do your research, and if nails are something you're really into, look around, see what kind of stuff you can find. And that's a great way to support companies that are trying to change the ingredients in our products. For me personally, I don't really do anything with my nails. I keep my fingernails fairly short for hygienic reasons, as I'm always in dirt and food and stuff like that. If you've been somebody who has done a lot of gels, for example, or just has very thin, brittle nails, then I definitely recommend maybe applying some oil. I've heard olive oil is actually really good for nails because of the vitamin E in it. So you can definitely make that part of your routine to kind of get that strength back into them. If you do perhaps have maybe more issues with your natural nail, I would recommend putting tea tree oil as well, as it is a good antiseptic and it can just help keep, anything gross that might be festering around your nails. It can keep that at bay too. Okay, next for the ladies, feminine hygiene. So we all know what we need to do for our feminine hygiene, but again, unfortunately, our feminine hygiene products usually sold to us have ingredients in it that I'm not comfortable with being near my body that way. So again, here is some ingredients to those products that you might want to avoid. I personally go down the route of just reusable cotton pads and or just period underwear. That's what works really well for me. You can get them very, very clean through washing. It's not gross in any way. But if that's not really the route you want to go, or say you just have a heavier flow than pads can typically handle, I know lots of people have really good luck with those menstrual cups. And so just finding what works for you in that category will do wonders. Next, let's talk about the biggest organ of our whole body, and that is just our skin, our just whole body hygiene. We are marketed lots of things for the body. We're marketed lotions, soaps, balms, body butters, perfumes, deodorants. The list goes on and on and on. So let's just dive in. First, if you're somebody that likes to give your body a good exfoliation, there's definitely a few different natural ways to do that. One is the practice of dry brushing, which is a very good way to exfoliate the skin. It's also a great way to help blood flow and circulation, and really does do wonders. If you really do like an extra exfoliation, lots of homemade recipes you can make with sugars and just things you would find in the kitchen, really. For soap, one, I definitely don't use soap everywhere all the time. That might sound crazy, but it is the truth. But when I am using soap, I always go with a nice bar soap, usually made with something like goat milk. And you can find natural body soaps all over the place in health food stores, farmers markets. Usually there's somebody somewhere close in your community that makes these homemade soaps. But just keep in mind, even if it's coming from a farmer's market or a local shop, very small scale, does not necessarily mean all good ingredients. So still check those ingredients, even if it's coming in a nice, beautiful cardboard case that, you know, somebody in a small shop down the street has. Still check those ingredients. For those lotions, you know what I'm going to say again, is going to be tallow. Tallow is amazing for the skin, and there's tallow lotions that people make, tallow products that have other things in them. You can scent tallow yourself with essential oils, etc., etc. But I'm telling you, it is the only lotion you need. When it comes to deodorant, yeah, you might think I'm gross, but I don't wear it very often at all. I have a more natural deodorant that I own that I will put on sometimes if I'm, you know, really going somewhere around a lot of people and I'm really going to be sweating. But truly, I just usually don't wear it. And in just a little bit, I'm going to talk a little bit more about the consistency of hygiene routines as well, to add that to your thought process. But truly, we don't need things in the amounts we think we do. And it really is a person by person basis too. So yeah, now that you guys think I'm gross, let's just jump into it. So first off, when it comes to washing hair, I wash my hair at the most about once every week and a half. And that works really, really well for me. I have a wavy to slightly curly hair texture. I have thick hair, thin individual hairs, but a lot of it, so a thick amount of hair. And I'm definitely a decently oily person. I'm not a naturally dry person. And I can't remember the last time I've had to use cornstarch because it just stays nice for that long. Now, depending on who you are, that might sound pretty normal or kind of wild, because I know there's lots of people out there who are every other day hair washers, even daily washers. And let me just tell you that you do not need to do that. Almost certainly, you do not need to do that. What happens is when we are washing our hair that often, especially with the typical products that, you know, really treat the scalp, our bodies are trying to overcompensate for that. So to have a nice healthy body, we do want our natural oils. We don't want to have no oils, right? So when we completely deplete all the oils from our head so aggressively, it can make our bodies really want to produce a lot more. So what I find people usually say when they start trying to lessen the amount that they're washing their hair is that it becomes incredibly greasy. And I'm not doubting that. That could definitely be the case because your body is trying to adjust. It's trying to overcompensate because that's what it's used to. So there could definitely be periods of having to get through that stage. And to help get through it, one, you can wear hats. You can put it in styles that, you know, greasiness is not as noticeable, such as maybe braids. And you can, like I said, use the cornstarch method. That does not set things out of balance like washing it does. So that is my routine for the hair. Now, if you're not grossed out yet, you might be for this one. My body washing schedule. I do not shower or bathe every single day. I don't know if that's crazy for some people, but I haven't for, I can't tell you how long. I haven't even since high school. And I will say too, if you're curious, it is not because I just don't do anything so I don't sweat. I work out, I hike, I garden. So how do I manage to not shower every day if I am active and doing all these things? Well, very easily. Just because I don't shower doesn't mean I don't stay clean, one. So what I do every day is get to the pits and the private zones and just go in there with a washcloth, but usually no soap, usually just water, maybe a little soap depending, but usually just water. And that just keeps those areas, a little bit more clean, since they are kind of the places you have the most sweat and moisture going on. And as far as the rest of my body goes, it really is a few different factors, I would say. One, probably genetics to some degree, but I can say that my mother does not live the same way I do by any means. We are very different, and I do think it's more of my personal upkeep with my body than genetics. These things also are impacted, though, by what we eat and how much water we drink, so it really does play an impact in what our sweat smells like, how much we sweat, things like that. And so every little thing does play a part in our overall health and what we see our body's reactions to things be. And also, I think it's just because this is how I've been for so long. Just like with the hair, our bodies can overcompensate for lack of natural oils as well. So if you are scrubbing down with, a harsh soap every single day, every morning or night in the shower, then when you stop doing that, your body is probably going to possibly overcompensate for a little bit. It could take time for your body to balance things out. And so you really have to make the decision on if you're okay with those transitional periods or not. But to wrap this video up for today, I just want to say you do not have to make all these changes at once, or any of them if you didn't like them. As I've been saying, it takes time for your body to kind of adapt, and so don't feel like you need to change everything right now or the world's going to explode. I know there can be a lot of kind of fear, unfortunately, in communities talking about living a little bit more naturally and talking about toxins and things like that. That is not my goal. We are never going to live in a toxin-free world. That's just the facts. And it's also the facts that anything can be toxic depending on the level of it. Water can kill you if you drink too much of it. Oxygen can be toxic if you have too much of it at once. So we really need to be aware of the language we're using when we're using these words. But that can be true while also saying that we should start limiting these different ingredients. We should start limiting as much as we can our exposure to certain things because of the research that has gone into it showing the connections, especially when we can see that we are kind of in a time where there is quite a bit of health issues in America, I can say, because that's where I live. But we do need to know that our bodies are designed to deal with toxins and that we're always going to be around them. So don't feel like you need to do all of this so quickly. This is all just the journey of trying to lower the amount of strain you're putting on those systems over whatever period of time you're comfortable with, to whatever extent you're comfortable with. So just using myself for an example, a lot of people would probably look at what I just put forward and say that that's very extreme. While others would say, oh, you still use regular toothpaste even though you're oil pulling. The fluoride in that is very bad and you should stop doing that. So just like with everything, you're going to have people on all sides of the conversation. So my hope is that you can just take this as a good reference point for lots of suggestions and go do your research and incorporate what you'd like to in your life. But if you like this video, please give it a like and subscribe if you'd like to see more. I put out a new video every single Monday with just content around slow, simple, and natural living. And I do hope you will join me in for the next one. But that is going to do it, and I hope to see you soon. Bye-bye.